Hello, everybody who has joined so far. Thanks, Davido. Trying to get there, but it's a bit hectic, but yeah. Sure, you guys are just joining today. It's just so beautiful. Thanks, guys. Hello. Hi, Jessica Blom. Hi, Michaela. Hi, Bridget. Oh, man. Oh, the faithfuls. The faithfuls are always pulling through. I love it. No hoops, yeah. Can I just tell you something about those hoops? I thought it would have been weird for me to wear it like, when we started with the Cape Town, the Insta-chats in like level 5 and stuff, because you have nowhere to go. So now at least if I put on the hoops, I still can make runs to the shops and maybe just go take a jog with these hoops on. Oh, no. Okay, welcome Annika. Yes, the faithfuls are just up it today. I love it, guys. I love it. Okay. We'll just wait another minute, I think, and then we'll start. It's going to be a lovely show today, guys. I'm very, very excited. I think it's going to be great. Also, those of you who have lunch, what are you guys eating? Did you bring your lunch with you? Do you sit on your couch and eat your lunch while you watch this? What are you guys, what is your situation like now? I'm keen to hear. Because I always feel like I'm fasting for this hour. And then after when I'm done, I'm like, let me run and get some food quickly. So tell me what your guys' situation is. What the situ is. Okay, guys, let's start. So welcome to another exciting, I don't know if can you call it an episode, I don't know, a little segment of the Cape Town Museum of Childhood's Insta Chats. If you don't know me, my name is Rushney Ferguson, and I'm so happy that you decided to join us today and spend your lunchtime with us. And again, I'm saying, guys, let me know what you guys are doing. Are you eating? Are you having a great Sami? Are you having a Gatsby? Are you having gritty and curry? Like, what is on the menu today? But anyway, I wanted to start today's live video by doing a little bit of reflection. Okay, so I'm sure you all, if you've been watching the news, on Tuesday, Andrew Mlangeni passed away at the age of 95. Okay, and he was one of the 10 Rivonia child accusees, I think is that's a word. And so I thought, I wanted to read out the names of the 10 men that were on trial. Some of them might be familiar to you, some of them might not. But let me read it to you. Hey, Julia. Okay, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Govan Mbeki, Raymond Mahlaba, Ahmed Kathrada, Lionel Bernstein, James Cantor, Dennis Goldberg, Elias Motsoaledi, and then Andrew Mlangeni. So these men were arrested in 1963 on Lily's Leaf Farm in Rivonia, where they were actually discussing Operation Mayebuye, which was part of the ANC's armed struggle against the apartheid. So this led to this very long trial known as the Rivonia trial, which took place in October of 1963 to June of 1964. And the trial led to the imprisonment of these men, who were then convicted on the 11th of June in 1964 of sabotage and sentenced to life in prison at the Palace of Justice in Pretoria. And then Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, Mr. President, said in commenting on the passing of Andrew Mlangeni, who was the last surviving Rivonia trialist. He said that his passing signifies the end of generational history and places our future squarely in our hands. So now, guys, generations come and generations go. I'm sure this is probably might have been the first time that some of you have heard of the other names of the Rivonia trialists. And so it's important for us to always keep the history of our country relevant and fresh, especially in the minds of our young children, so that they never forget, you know, that, and I now always say this, but the freedoms that we enjoy today was because of the sacrifices that other people made. So yeah, I thought it was just important just to reflect on that, especially since Andrew Langeni was one of the last surviving Rivonia trialist. Okay, so let's get into today, guys. Like I said, I'm so excited. Those of you who know me really well know that I love the theatre, and I love seeing our local peeps on stage, and they are super talented. And today we have somebody who is a triple threat. I actually got a call from my boss this morning. He's like, Chanel, is it appropriate to say triple threat? Is that not a bit negative? I'm like, that's not negative. It is like to say that the girl can dance, she can act, and she can sing. And we are super, super excited to have Rushney Ferguson with us today. She is multi-talented. I'm sure if you guys went to go see Langarm, Aunty, Merle, Danger in the Dark, she's played lead roles in this production. You would have seen that she is amazing. So we're so excited to be chatting to her today. And I'm going to ask you guys to do this lovely virtual round of applause to welcome Rushney Ferguson. Yeah. Let's see. It's connecting. There we go. Welcome, Rushney.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am also fantastic. It's a beautiful day.
It is. The sun has been out, guys, but you know, I also had that voice of the older aunties in my mind. You know, they say, dear severe, but for your sick mark. So don't go out and think you can go to the beach, guys. No. Still wear your long sleeve tops, your polo necks, and those kind of things. It's still very much winter. But okay, Rushney, so excited to have you on our Cape Town Museum of Childhood's Insta Chats today. Can you please, it's a pleasure. Can you please tell these people who is Miss Rushney Ferguson?
I am a performing artist. I do a lot of theater and TV. I am excited to be an artist. We get to touch so many people, so many lives. And I studied at Waterfront Theatre School. I've worked at the Fugard and the Baxter. And yeah, that's about it. And I'm 31 years old, in case people want. Yeah.
You look like you could be younger, Rushney, okay? I'm just going to put it out there. The genes are good. The genes are good. Listen, guys, I must also put out a disclaimer here. I'm sure Rushney got a shock when she saw me now, because I've learned that you have to do tests with people before we do the Insta Live things, because otherwise, technically, it can get very whack. And then it was me washing my hair, and I just before the test, I was like, let me just try and blow this little criminals in front. But then my mother's saying, blow that, I wasn't plugged in. I'm like, listen, just accept me as I am. And when I saw myself, I was like, Rushney, I actually need to end this. Can we just end this little test? Because I'm embarrassed. But anyway, you're looking gorgeous, though. I love the hair, Rushney. Okay, so Rushney, tell us a bit about your childhood, because I think I read somewhere that you actually grew up in George, if I'm not mistaken. In Pakkelsdorp, right?
I'm born and bred in Pakkelsdorp. No, I do not pray. I grew up at that early age. I grew up in Pakkelsdorp. I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house. So while my parents were working, I'd be there. It was very farm-like back in the day. Obviously, it evolved now, but my grandpa and I, we would walk down to there was like a pond or something, and there'd be water lilies and everything. We'd spend a lot of time there. It's close to the library. There's a massive amphitheater there now where they would do live performances and such. But that's where I would spend a lot of time. I would be in the backyard a lot. Funny enough, my grandmother was actually a primary school teacher, and I would help her do a lot of the cooking of the class work and so on. So I learned while I was staying there. My grandfather was a foreman for a construction company, so he would do a lot of work around the house, and I would help him do that. I mean, I can mix daga, I can put in windows. We worked on the car.
Wow.
I drive on a old Opel Kadett, Turtle, those ones.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun growing up there. I had a lot of time to play outside, to interact with people. And my grandmother was my Sunday school teacher, so that was fun. And then and while my grandmother was at school and my grandfather was working, I had a babysitter. Her name was Johanna. She basically raised me, did my hair, worked with her around the house, did a lot of stuff. So my childhood was very much outside, barefoot in the sand with a spoon and a cup, making mud cakes. Yeah.
Lekker man. But now tell me, when did you move to Cape Town, and what was that transition like? Because you said Pakelstorp was very like farm-like, and then you come to Cape Town and it's just, whoa.
Well, I moved around a lot when I was younger. I lived in PE, I've lived in Cape Town, and basically the trifecta. So Cape Town, George P, Cape Town, all like that. But essentially when I was older, when we moved to Cape Town, it was a big culture shock for me, because there was all these big malls and these massive and all these people, and the culture was different, because whereas in George we would all be like walking down the street, you sit on your stoop, hi, how's it going, how's everyone, church, all of that kind of thing. Whereas in Cape Town, everyone was moving so fast, everyone was moving so fast, there was no real time really to slow down. I had to learn all of the different ways that people speak, all the dialects, all the slang, all of that kind of thing. It was very different, and I was mocked a lot, but I was asked a lot of questions about my accent, especially when I speak in Afrikaans. They can hear between Cape Town Afrikaans and then you'd say like the Karoo the Garden Route Afrikaans. It's very different. So I would get a lot of questions like, you're not from here, where you from? How did you end up here, kind of thing. So it was quite a massive culture shock for me as a kid, because we moved. I actually lived in Kuils River for about a year. Then back to George, and then I came back here when I was about 12, because I went to school when I was 6. So that's also a big thing for me, because being in Cape Town, everyone was so mature for their age, whereas I came from a small town where everyone knew everyone. So 12-year-old into a class of grade 7s, which were all 13, some 14. It was quite challenging in the beginning, but you know, you fall into it and you kind of just, it's do or die. You kind of have to just survive.
You cap on.
Yeah, the cap net an.
Okay, so Rushney, what inspired you to pursue a career in the arts?
I think it was because I grew up around a lot of music and watching shows on TV and stuff like that. Because I've said this quite often, my mom would make Sunday lunch and the radio would be on, and I would be influenced by soul and R&B singers. And so my dad also loved Michael Jackson and the whole Jackson family and all of that. So I grew up listening to those kinds of music and that kind of people, and seeing them on when MTV still did the MTV Unplugged.
Yes. Oh my word.
I mean, my first live concert that I actually saw on TV was Mariah Carey's Unplugged. I think she's got an album like that. And that's what I saw. And that's when I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I was about 7 or 8, and dancing around the house and stuff. But at that age, I realized I could actually carry a note. I realized I can actually do what they do. I could mimic them, and it doesn't sound half bad. And that's what I would do. I would mimic them and so on, and I would put on little shows in the house. And I think I knew from an early age that that's what I wanted to do. And I think watching the live performances, watching music videos, hearing the stuff on the radio, listening to the music, and the feeling that I got while listening to it, the escape I could have while listening to the music and watch the shows was probably the reason why I got into do what I do now.
So Rushney, tell us a bit about your time at the Waterfront Theatre School.
It was awesome. I mean, just wipe that away. Any school that you go to, any tertiary education can be challenging. I think the fact that I was 21 when I started was a big plus for me, because I had an understanding of what was expected, what I needed to be doing, where my focus needed to be, and what essentially I wanted to do. I think if I had gone 3 years prior, especially when I came straight out of school, I don't think I'd be able to handle the pressure and the requirements and the, you know, it kind of feels like you have the world on your shoulders when you, especially when you are a theater student. I don't think many people understand the hard work and sacrifice that goes into that. And I think I was blessed enough to have that kind of a support system and know within myself what I needed to be doing when I was there. I mean, the lecturers were amazing. The classes were amazing. It was tough because you have to motivate yourself. Nobody's going to sit with you and do your homework with you. Especially if you come from a family like mine who were musical, but ventured into the academic side of life. Nobody understands what is expected of you, what you needed to do. They never understood why I was always coming home late, or why I needed to go in and rehearse on a Sunday or on a Saturday or teach or whatever the case may be. So it was always hard on that side to kind of explain, this is what I need to be doing to get ahead and get the training that I need. So it was tough on that side, but then the rewards were fantastic, because I think the lovely thing about the school is that it technically kind of feeds into the industry in a way. Prepare you for theater and so on. I always say you learn best when you're out there, but I think you still need that foundation in order for you to get ahead. It was great.
Okay, and that kind of leads in, you a little touch on it a bit, but how important do you think formal training is for someone who aspires to be an artist like yourself, a triple threat artist?
I think it's so important, because you learn, you get the building blocks of what it is to be out there, because I didn't know what it took to put a musical together until I did in theatre school. Because we would do our own theatre productions and stuff like that, things like A Chorus Line, Footloose, like that. So we even did Hairspray, and I didn't understand what the rehearsal process was until I did that. So when I came into the industry and working professionally in the theatre, I understood that this is what is expected. This is what I need to do. This is how rehearsals work. This is how script work works. This is how learning the music works. And we were trained in such a way that we understood that you work from the get-go. It's not like in theatre school, we would come in and learn the music at 7 o'clock in the morning. We would do our classes until 6 and rehearse again at night to put the show on. So I understood that you working from 9 in the morning until 6 in the evening, and then going home and doing even more work because you have to learn your script so that you can see it for the day. Nobody is going to spoon feed you and reiterate what it is that you need to be doing. You have to put in your own work. And I think in saying that, training is extremely important. I know not everybody can afford training or have the opportunity. And I would say there are so many masterclasses on YouTube. There are so many people you can try and educate yourself as much as you can, so that when you get that big break or when you get that opportunity to work in the industry, it comes with the knowledge of what is expected. So you know more or less what it means to be there. And I think training especially, this is what is going to happen choreographically. With singing training, I find that a lot of people don't know what it takes to be able to sing for 2 hours straight at night, 8 times a week.
Yeah.
You know what it takes.
Do you even have like a throat after that?
It was difficult in the beginning, because even though we did the work in college, you come in and it's so much more demanding in the real that way. In the real world, it's so much more demanding, because you're singing all day. You are expected to sing full out all day from 9 till 5. and on weekends, and then come home and still practice, and then still do a show at night.
Yes.
So it is quite hectic, and I think that the earlier you start training yourself to have the stamina to be able to sing, dance, and act and do at that pace and so many times a week, the better it will be for you when you actually get there.
Yeah, flip. That's some amazing insight there. I just want to say hi to some of the people because I'm seeing a lot of emojis, and I feel like we must say hi to some of the people. So hi Adele with that an E. Hi Junaid Isaacs. Hi Cheswin. Cheswin's sending us some hearts. Hi Denver. Hi Denver Davids and Drop the Bass.
Mark My Famous season 1, just by the way, for those who don't know. That's
hello, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Hi,
and then this, yes, and Shane, Kurt, Christians, and Alex, and Odd Petal, and just a lot of you guys. So thank you so much for joining. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the emojis. If you have any questions for Rushney, don't be scared to pop them in the comment section. Yeah. And if our eyes gets to it, I'll definitely ask Rushney that question. Okay, so Rushney, you've worked with the amazingly talented David Kramer, and also super amazing is Mr. Mark Lottering. What was that experience like working with both of them?
I can't say this enough. To come full circle of like watching them when I grew up, Mark Lottering, watching David's productions, and then having to sit next to them in rehearsal and actually work with him was mind-blowing. I think the moment I realized what was happening, I totally fangirl inside myself. I didn't I was fangirling half the time when I walked.
You just have to keep it cool, you know?
No, like Mark Lottering is now going to play my mom, and I'm going to play his daughter, and working with David so closely on scripts and working on the characters and stuff. It was so surreal. It was the most rewarding and amazing experience in my life. At that point, I was like, okay, I've done it. I can die now. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then I think I had an out-of-body experience the moment I was called and said, listen, we want to cast you as the lead in David Kramer's musical. I was beside myself. I cried, I laughed, I jumped for joy. I called my family and said, this is happening. It was the most amazing experience ever. And just to be able to sit next to them and rub off on some of their amazing to see the process, to see how they put something. Mark with the way he writes in the content that he has, and David the way he thinks up all the stories and the characters, just how he colors it all in, and how they put it on stage was fantastic too. It was amazing to be in the presence of such legends.
Yeah, and I also want to say, Rushney, you were amazing in all those roles. You definitely deserve to play those lead roles. I mean, you were fantastic. I remember so I just started pulling my partner in to go with me to theaters to watch some shows. And I remember we always try to sit in front, you know. We wanted Squidwards to get us, but not also, you know, to dodge still. And we were there for Langarm, and just the time, just the whole start to the end, it was just amazing. And you guys were super profesh, and the singing and Alice was just top notch.
Thank you. Little secret
Yeah.
about that for those who are wondering. I had never done ballroom before in my life.
Oh, wow.
It was thanks to Grant van Ster that we looked so amazing on stage, because he brought us all his knowledge that he had over his years of training and competitions, because he was the choreographer for that show. Yeah. And if for him, I would have fallen over my feet every single night. But he was so amazing. And yeah, I never did ballroom before until that rehearsal, and we had about 5 weeks to put that show on, and I had to pretend and make as if I am this person.
No, but you were. In the end, you did the things. I just want to read. Okay, so CJ is asking, how do you balance your busy schedule and personal life? And then I also want to say hi to Daniel Richards and Jean, who's just joined as well. Hi, guys.
How do I? Okay, it's all about time management. It's all about prioritizing what's important in that moment, and it's also about the partner that you have, I suppose. if they don't understand your line of work and what it is that you I don't think it's going to work out well, especially if you are an artist who's constantly busy. You always have to hustle because it's always a struggle to get work. You are lucky if you get a part. And if you have somebody that doesn't understand your line of work or what it takes to have to put on a show or all the rehearsal times, sometimes it can be a little tricky. But it's all about time management and making time for your partner and saying, look, today I'm not doing anything. Today I'm going to be all about you and about us. And communicating with your partner is also the best thing, because for them to understand what you do and what it is that you need from them and vice versa would be the best thing for your relationship. I mean, I've been in situations where I've been with someone who doesn't understand the industry, or maybe an accountant or whatever, something totally different, and then you can see the lack of understanding from them. And I think that it is communication, like I said, and time management are your big pluses when you are in a relationship. And your person, like with your family, especially for those who maybe, like I said, don't understand the industry. It's prioritizing what is important in that moment, and then spending time with them after the job is done, or making sure that they understand that they are still loved. It's as simple as giving them a phone call, giving them a video call. Like my grandmother, for example, knows that I'm busy. She might not understand what I do, but I make a point of calling her at least once or twice a week to say, hey, I'm still here. I think about you. And like that. So just manage your time and communicate and find a level of understanding between the two of you, and I think you'll be fine.
Cool, thanks. And then Janae says, you've been amazing in Aunty Merle, the musical, and in Danger in the Dark. Well done, and we cannot agree more. And then Devido says, or asks, if you had to choose, what was your favorite production to be part of and why?
I think, nobody must be offended. I'm dark, but I think Danger in the Dark was by far my favorite, simply because the character was so real to me. Because of, I think it's, and I actually thought about this the other day. You don't know, because Juanita was a character that I played. For those of you who had not seen Danger in the Dark, she was mentally and probably physically abused. We don't see that in the story, but mentally, verbally abused, and very much in a controlling relationship with her husband, Michael. And she was so far in that she didn't even realize it was happening. And I think relate to that in terms of, and I think a lot of women can relate to that in the sense of, we don't know how messed up your relationship was with the person until you try and explain it to someone else, and then you kind of go, wow, I didn't realize I was gaslighted, or I was being controlled or oppressed, you know. And I think that character helped me so much, because there are so many women out there who struggle in situations like that, that I had to find the truth of her in myself and portray the truth really well. And I think that spoke to me more than anything else I've ever done, because I see it. I hear about these women that are being hurt and sometimes killed by their loved ones because of a relationship that they were in, and they just couldn't get out. And that's the same thing that happened to her. And it spoke to me on so many levels because of that topic, and because of how relevant it was at that moment in our country, in terms of what was happening and what still is happening, that we maybe don't hear about very often. And that's why I loved it so much, because the story was so meticulous, and it was so cleverly written by David Kramer, and it was what was happening at the time in our country. And that's why I love that show so much, because you can literally speak with your own experience, whether it's good, bad, ugly, amazing or not. You can use that, and it's kind of therapeutic in a way. And you can kind of see some of the people in the audience, they have that moment of, wow, I didn't know that people actually perceive things like that. And hopefully we could help people, we could bring awareness. So that for me was by far my favorite, just because of the content and the story.
I think even as an audience member, when I watched that, when it was done, I was like, oh my word, people need to see this. And it was interesting to watch, because I mean, you could almost see that it was going to end in a tragedy, although you were like hopeful, and you're like, can't you see, like, get out, like, do this thing.
And I think that's the kind of story, it's the kind of exactly what you said. You hold on to that hope that maybe end in a loving and happy way, but that ends
Yeah.
up being a tragedy. And I think that is more real for everyone out there in our country and the world. It's more of a real perspective on a story instead of trying to make it end in a happy and, you know, happy-go-lucky way. Hi, Daniel Richards. Hi. People say we look alike, that we are brother and sister from another mother and mister.
Another mother. All you guys. I'm just kidding. Okay, I just want to read some more comments. Jason Clayman says, Rushney, you are just super, super true. I cried my eyes out through the whole show. And then Annika Lee Adams says, we need to see this now. Yes. Oh my word. It's lockdown, guys. That happened. And that's why.
Ismene Darman, sir. He was a top 10 contestant of Mark My Famous last year. And Jason Klainsmith is actually in this current top 10. By the way, we come on the 8th. Mark My Famous is coming back to Keknet on the 8th, just so that we know. Hi, guys.
Okay, but Rushney, tell us about your relation with, or how are you involved in Mark My Famous? Tell us about that.
I am the newer mentor of season 2. I came in as a choreography mentor. I also have choreographed for Emo quite often in the past, and that's how we kind of built that relationship. It was actually Lukman that brought me into the family, and it's fantastic ever since then. I mean, I've been working with him for quite a number of years, since 2017, I think. Yes, I worked with him on Brother Love 2. And yeah, since then I've been working with the family, and it's been amazing. Yeah, so Mark My Famous has been a fantastic journey for me to get to know all of these people and to see also. My favorite part, I think, is the impact that your mentorship has on them, and to see the growth from coming into the show and now starting with top 10, just to see the growth and how amazing they are and how they take in and retain what you say, and being able to pass on your knowledge is, for me, the best part. It's not even about being on TV or working with all of these amazing people. It's, for me, it's just the contestants and being able to give my knowledge and pass it on to them and see what they do with that and with what they do with the industry.
And how is TV? Because you've been on stages in the theaters and so forth. How different is being on TV to that?
I think it's what people don't understand is that theater and TV is so different. Theater, you have a little bit of freedom to play within reason, but I think with TV, it's a lot more meticulous and a lot more precise, because there's so much that goes. There's so many people involved. There's so many entities involved in making the show, especially a live show, making it run smoothly so that there are no glitches. There's nothing that happens. I think you have to be on the ball. You need to know what you're doing, where you're going, and what happens at that exact moment, so that you are able to kind of give a well-organized production. You need to be a well-oiled to be able to put on such an amazing production. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about the current situation in the world, and that's the COVID pandemic, which has impacted so many industries. So can you, it's real. The struggle is so real. Can you tell us how it has impacted you as an artist and then the arts industry?
Sure, guys. I mean, what shook me to the core was we were in the middle of our second season, or our return season of Danger in the Dark, and I remember finishing on that Sunday and getting the message the Monday that we're shut down. Sure. That was a shock to all of us, because we kind of went, if we are not allowed to perform, people are not allowed to come and watch shows, what are we going to do? Because we rely on events, we rely on indoor events, we rely on coming together in groups and all of those kinds of things to be able to make money, to be on stage and to perform. It knocked us back years, if you could say. Our progress it knocked us back, because at the moment, if you look at things like all the productions that have been stalled and postponed and cancelled, producers lose money. artists lose money. To gain all of that traction back is going to take a long time. I mean, the Few Got Theatre just announced that they're closing until further notice. The Baxter is probably not open for a while, because to open theatres on such a large scale, to have to sanitize them every single night after people have there, after performers have touched everything, anyone's safety. So we are struggling. There is no work for us. The only work that's available is on TV, and that's also a tight-knit group of people. And coming from theatre to TV, like I said, is quite hard because it's a whole different ball game. And if you're in TV already, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, you're lucky, but we are kind of suffering, and put out content. To put content out there online is also difficult because you don't always have the equipment, you don't have the ways and means. Will people tune in? It's always the fear. Are people going to watch something online? Do they have data? Are they able to have watch on their phones, have Wi-Fi, have the facility? Because a lot of people rely on coming in to the theatre and paying 100 Rand for that ticket and seeing it once off, whereas it's because it's easier. Whereas now everything is digitized online. Sometimes just don't have the facility to be able to tune in and watch the shows and stuff, you know. So it's hard for us to make money at the moment. And then we have the government who's really not seeing us. They looking past us. I mean, we applied for the artist's grant in April. Some people are only getting paid now. Some people might never get paid. UIF takes long. So it's kind of like stuck between a rock and a place, because we are the people that keep the things alive. I mean, without us, there won't be TV, there won't be adverts, there won't be radio, there won't be music, there won't be poetry or books or painting. So you rely on us as an escape stimulant. And if we're not there, it's like one of those movies. Have you ever watched a movie where you feel like something is wrong, like there's something missing, and then you realize there's no background music, there's no underscore, there's nothing. And you ever watch those awkward movies? And I feel like that is what, if we cancel art, if all the artists just decide we're not working today, what will happen? I feel like the planet will shut down, because a big part of your life, you don't have that theme song to your life. You don't have these series on Netflix that you binge watch, like Friends and Big Bang Theory and all of that. You won't have that anymore. Then what do we have? Have nothing. You don't have culture. You won't have livelihood. You won't have that essence of self to escape into. You won't have that place to go. So I think we just need the rest of the public, or the non-arts people. I like to call them muggles. For those of you who don't watch, the muggles are magic people. So for the muggles out there who don't understand what it's like for us, maybe crack a book, do some research, see what it is in artists and how we do struggle on a daily, and maybe find a way to help bring awareness. Sometimes just starting a conversation to answer, is it Devereaux Manuel?
Devereaux.
Yes. What advice would you give the public? How to support the industry in this? Sometimes it's just as simple as starting a conversation. Sometimes it's as simple as posting something to maybe bring awareness to that problem, that we don't have a platform, the money. We're not balling as much as you think we are. I mean, our lives might look glamorous, rubbing shoulders with all these amazing people, but we're not making the same amount of money. If you understand what I'm saying, it's not, we don't sometimes. So sometimes it's just starting a conversation and creating a platform to express ourselves. This, for example, maybe many people out there don't even know that we are having the struggle, because we all, in this pandemic, we also inapt on, okay, I need to hustle and I need to, but what about the next person? What about the next person? And saying, look, I don't know how to help you, but maybe I can share maybe there is somebody out there that is able to. But if we don't in hand with just a conversation or just a post or saying this person might need help, we will never know. We have to interact and talk to each other. You can't be silent and watch the world by. And I think that's what we need more now than anything else. It's not giving me money. It's not necessarily a job. It's about just pointing out that that person needs help, that person needs help, maybe someone that is able to offer them assistance.
And so Adele Joseph also says that's so true. We are all getting by the help of artists like yourself in this hard times. Amen to that.
Imagine you are in lockdown, full scale lockdown, TV, that the radio isn't working. There's no Netflix, there's no nothing. What you gonna do? There's no book.
Yeah, no.
I'm frozen. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but you are definitely frozen on your side. Oh, there we go. It's up and running.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, guys, this is the technical gods again. Okay, I can hear you.
Not today. The devil is a liar.
Okay.
Amen.
He is. Okay, before we go to church, let's just finish because I see time is catching up with us. I just want to get to two last questions before we play a game. So what has been one of the biggest life lessons that you have learned from being in the arts industry?
My biggest lesson, and it's something that I had struggled with for many years, is be unapologetically yourself. Be yourself, because at the end of the day, if people don't like you, then they don't like you. But there will be someone who's gonna like what you say, enjoy what you do, and they will follow you and they will support you. Because if you're not going to be yourself, you're not giving a true representation of what it is like to be in the industry, to be you. And I just feel like I struggled with that as well. You know, I can understand that it is hard. You want to be the person that you think people want you to be. And I've realized that in my 31 years of existence, it's just taken me 20 years to love who I am and be comfortable in the skin that I'm in and be okay with who I am and the way I speak, the way I sing, the way I think, the way I look, the way my hair looks, my weight, all of those kinds of things. It's taken me so long to be here and to be comfortable. Why am I going to change for you? I'm not going to do that. Compromise, maybe, but to change who you are as a person down to the root and try and be somebody that you're not it's going to be your downfall. Be unapologetically yourself. Be true to yourself and to what you believe in.
Amandla. So Rushney, I know a lot of people that are joining in find you as somebody who's very inspirational and they are inspired by you. But who inspires you? Which artist inspires you?
Oh gosh, there are so many, but I think if I can put it this way, I don't know if it's an inspiration or if it answers your question, but the one place that I find solace in, the one thing that I go back to every single time I'm feeling sad or if I need that little bit of a kick, I go back to Michael Jackson. See, I look at his story of rags to riches, his not claim to fame, but his life story and how hard he worked. I mean, if you bar all of those other things, I don't want to get into that. None of my business. He's not here to defend himself. But if I look at his work ethic, the amount of practice, the amount of time he took practicing, perfecting his skill in the rehearsal room, working on his songs. I mean, I just found out that, for example, Billie Jean, they went through about 100 sounds to find that one sound that is going to take the song. They mix and mastered the song like a couple of 100 times before he realized I actually want that version of like the work ethic, the time that you put in. I always go back there. I always go listen to his music because sometimes if you listen carefully, he's trying to talk to you. He's trying to tell you something. And I think it was also because, and it's funny enough that I spoke to someone about this the other day, where my dancing and my performance is concerned. I think he was my first coach because I would watch shows and I would mimic what he was doing and I would kind of listen to what he's saying and singing and try and emulate that, his energy, his performance energy. That is where I find solace in. And I would say that inspired me to kind of go, I want to be that invested in my career when I'm older and able to kind of go off and venture off myself and do my thing. And I think that's who I always go back to and listen to. And I mean, sometimes a day when I'm feeling down, I just pop in his CD. My favorite one is Thriller, just by the way. I pop. Yes, I still have CDs, discs. I mean, if I had the money, I'd buy vinyls. But that's who I go to. That's who I listen to find some inspiration. I love watching his movie that they released after his death.
Oh, This Is It. It was fantastic.
This Is It was for me just to see the process that they go through to put some all of that. That for me is what kind of made it, when I was cognizant enough to understand that's what it takes. That's where I go to watch that to kind of get me back into work mode and
Yeah. I feel like when I watched it as well, I was like, he was such a perfectionist, and he wasn't afraid to be like, that's not the note, okay? And he'll be like, I'm saying it with love, but that's not the note, And
guys, this is why we rehearse.
Yes.
Like, don't worry about getting it wrong. This is why we rehearse.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what he wants. My favorite thing in that movie actually is where he's standing on the platform, and I think they're gonna do The Way You Make Me Feel. And they have this whole intro, and they like, so how do you know when to turn it?
Yeah.
Feel it. And I kid you not, the exact moment that the music comes in, that's when he turns. And I was like, wait, whoa, there's some sorcery here. And I think because he is so in tune with his music and his message and his performance and what he's doing, that for me was the most inspiring, because if you are not at home and in tune and with yourself and with your product, it's not going to go anywhere. And that's why I think a lot of artists fail, is because they think that you need to put out what people want instead of doing what you feel truthful, and what you find truthful within yourself is what you should actually be doing.
Okay, last question, then we're going to go on to our game because we're running out of time.
And we can
what are your what is next for Rushney? I know the pandemic has knocked us really hard, but is there any other cool projects that you have that you're just waiting for the pandemic to be over so you can just
So before the pandemic started, I started my own little academy thing, because again, like I said, I want to be able to give back and to pass my knowledge on. But pandemic, it's a little difficult to teach and so on. So in conjunction with that, I do have like a beauty line that's going to come out soon. And for dancers and performers in particular, because there's a lot of times where we can't find products that are healthy enough for us, for your voice, for your skin, for your body, to be able to recover and to be able to sustain yourself during long rehearsal periods. Especially with us wearing makeup all the time and having to be show ready all the time. So I'm busy developing things like that goes hand in hand with my academy, to educate my students as well, eventually when I am able to get my academy up and running, to educate them on how to take care of yourself internally so that the external product will be good. So I'm talking like endurance support, vocal support, hair, makeup, body muscle recovery, things like that. That's what I'm working on, because I also find that there's a lot of chemicals in certain products that can affect you vocally, that can affect you mentally, that I didn't realize that in years. So luckily I have a father who is in the medical profession that can help me do these things and help me test it out properly and get the right ingredients and things together to make it as organic as possible and as user-friendly as possible for artists to take care of ourselves and our bodies. And that's my next step, is to try and educate us performers on what is actually good for you and what is bad for you. Because sometimes you go through life with blinkers on and you're just doing to be able to sustain and to be able to get ahead and keep going, rather than doing what's best for you. Do you know, if you understand what I'm saying? So you put in is what you're going to get out. And I think that is my next step is to try and educate us performers and also those who are coming into the industry and how to create a longevity in your career by taking care of yourself. Not to be able to work, but to able to be healthy enough to go to work and to be able to in a long career.
Okay, that's exciting stuff. We can't wait for it to launch.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are going to do what we always do at the end of the show. We play a little game. I'm going to read out a statement, and then you just need to complete the statement. Okay?
Okay.
No, it's really chilled. It's great. It's fun. Okay. As a child, my favorite TV show was
Making the Video. MTV is Making the Video.
Okay. As a child, my favorite toy was
A spray bottle, because that would be my microphone.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just quickly, just explain that. Was it literally the can, like a spray?
Yes, a spray can with a toppy on, like a yard.
Oh, like a Mr. Min vibe.
Yes, like a normal, like a spray. Grab it and I see. That was my thing. I didn't bother too much toys and bicycles and Barbie. My little tape player thing and my pretend microphone.
Okay. As a child, my favorite food was
pizza.
Hey, okay, we've had quite a few people saying pizza. And then as a child, my favorite singer or band was
Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, and then in later years, I don't know why I latched onto her, but Christina Aguilera, because she is amazing.
Okay, so I vaguely remember some of Christina's songs, but can you just give us a little line? So just to refresh our memory. Oh, you think this board is falling behind.
I feel like I've been locked up tight for a century of lonely nights, waiting for someone to release me.
Yeah, I felt like that was Christina. Like when you saw it, I was like, whoa, she is with us. That is amazing. That was Genie in the Bottle, guys. Not by Christina, but by Rushney Ferguson. Okay. As a child, my favorite teacher was, or who was your favorite teacher, or a teacher that really stood out for you as a child?
Oh gosh, what was her name? Why can't I remember her name? I remember it was my Afrikaans teacher in high school. I think it was because she saw, I guess, the raw talent that I had, and she was always supportive. What was her name? Started with an F. I can see her face in front of me. All of a sudden, her name escapes me. I'll post it.
We can just call her Mrs. F for now.
Yes. I might even be wrong about that, but hey. Of everything that we did in school, whether it was us trying to start a band, performing, and things like that, she was always there.
Yeah. So listen, we're getting a lot of reaction to that singing, and I'm just wondering, we can just put in another Michael Jackson. Let's who was the other person that you said also? The other artist, Michael Jackson, Christina, and Mariah. Okay, last Michael Jackson, Mariah.
Mariah song. What are we gonna sing? Give me a song for do you know?
Always be my baby.
What I know here?
You'll always be a da da da. I think. Or do you want to do Hero?
Can't escape me, oh darling, 'cause you'll always be my baby. Do do do.
Yes, man.
I can't do the
I was gonna say, can you just whistle for us while you at it? Just give us the whistle. Okay, Rushney, if you could sum up your childhood in one word, what would it be?
Fun.
Okay.
Fun. All kinds of fun.
Okay. So Rushney, thank you so much. We've come to the end. We've got 5 minutes left. Is there anybody that you want to send a shout out to? And the people are going crazy ever since you sang. They're like, wow, this girl can sing. But is there anybody you want to say hi to? Send a little shout out to.
I would like to say I don't know if they're watching. I don't know who else is on there, but my whole Mark My Famous family, my own family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my granny. She's probably gonna watch this later. I'll send it to her. Granny out there, she's in Pakelsdorp. They are all in isolation, trying not to go out and so on. And then all my theater buddies, guys, I love you. My Danger in the Dark family, my Aunty Merle family, everybody out there, everyone at the Fugard, everyone at the Baxter, and yeah, just all the artists out there. Strongs, guys, it's gonna be okay. We are gonna pull through this. It's gonna happen, and we are gonna come out stronger on the other side. Watch out for us. We are coming. We are coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Love it. As like Rushney said, guys, this, or alluding to what she said, this too shall pass. You know, this is like a season of hardship that we're going to, and like Rushney said, you're gonna come out after this much stronger, ready to take on the world, ready to take on the stage, TV, whatever it may be. It's gonna be lit. You know, as they say, it's gonna be lit.
Definitely.
Okay, so Rushney, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I've enjoyed it. People have loved this. I'm sure people are going to share. Please do share this video for people, for others to see. And yeah, you've now become a friend of the museum, and maybe we can even collaborate on something in the future. You never know. Yeah. So I will. So you just keep well, and to everybody that watched, thank you guys. We really appreciate the support. I know the data struggle is real, but we appreciate the love. We appreciate the emojis and just alles wat alles. And we just wish you a beautiful rest of the day. And yeah,
thank you so much. It's been amazing.
It has. Bye, guys.
Bye.